Hi everybody, welcome to After Effects. I'm Michael Brown, so I'm your instructor, and I just kind of wanted to do a little quick intro to After Effects and a little quick first assignment that you guys can do and kind of start getting used to the menus and all that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and give you this clip as well to use, the same clip I'm using for this little demo. And it's right here, and I'll give it to you guys. It's just Street Fighter 6 beta gameplay from the beta that I have. So what we'll do is we'll kind of look at After Effects and applying some actual effects to the work, and then just kind of turning in a screenshot of your effect stack and your kind of composition screen showing, you know, the effects working. All right, so what we're going to do is over here is all of the files that you've imported. Okay, so they import right here. And then you can grab them and add them to the timeline or to the composition, which is what we're going to be doing. And then down here is what's called your work area. So you're going to see your timeline show up down here, also what you're working with. And then we have our effects menu over here. And we also have some effects and presets over here that we'll be looking at. But for now, let's go ahead and just drag this down and actually make it a composition. So to do that, I'm going to grab this file, which is, like I said, the Street Fighter file. And I'll go down here, and there's this little button here with like 3 shapes on it, like a red circle, and like a triangle. So just click on that, and that's going to automatically make it a new composition. So it's going to show up down here, ready for us to start working with. So you can actually see that if I can scroll the whole thing, and this is it right there. Okay. Now, as you add things, you can keep adding stuff down here, so that way it'll then layer and you can have it cut between things, etc., etc. And we'll be messing with that as we move through the semester. Okay, so let's actually start applying some effects to this object, to this video here, just so you can see how easy it is to do that. So you can see them fighting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to Effect. I'm going to go to Blur and Sharpen. And the first thing I'll do is we'll just try like a radial blur. So you can see that it actually just works in real time, blurring from that center point. Now, you can see once I apply an effect, it's going to show up over here with its controls. So this is showing the radial blur and where it's blurring from, as well as the amount, the center, the type, and of course the anti-aliasing. The higher this value is, the more it'll draw on your computer. So low is good for previewing and high is good for when you're ready to render it out. If you have a high-end computer, it works pretty well either way. But as you start stacking effects, it may start to slow down. So just keep that in mind. Now, what's really cool about After Effects is I can grab this effect and I can actually move it. So you can see that it starts its center point from wherever this piece is, which is really cool. So I can move it over here, and now everything is kind of coming out of that point. So it really depends on where you want to put that center point. So I'll put it right back there in the center. Okay, now, if I want to turn this off so I can see what my other effects look like, I'm just going to click on this little FX button, and that's going to turn it off. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add another effect. So I'll add an effect. Let's do stylize. Let's see what cartoon does. Okay, so cartoon's pretty cool. So you can see that it went ahead and tried to like kind of outline everything. Now, I can turn on my blur. So you can see that the blur and the cartoon work at the same time on the video feed. But what's really interesting is you can actually change the order of these effects because After Effects renders them in order that they're listed here. So if I drag my cartoon up above radial blur, you might see it change a little bit because now it's going to apply that cartoon effect to the radial blur. So it'll apply your top effect down that stack. If you're used to using 3D Studio Max or something like that, you're used to working with a stack, and everything kind of starts at the top and works its way down. So you can now see that it looks very different because it's actually applying the cartoon to the spirals. right? And of course you can turn that off. You can turn off cartoon, kind of whatever. So you can see that there it is, kind of working. And then I'll go radial blur, cartoon, turn it back on. Now, over here we have something called effects and presets. So this one we can just kind of look for stuff. Like let's say we want a lens flare. Lens flare, there it is, right there. Double click it. And so this is the lens flare. This is the After Effects lens flare, which you guys have probably seen thousands of times and just don't realize it. So you can see that I'm just adjusting it by moving where that sunlight is, where that lens flare is coming from. And of course, you have all the options that you can adjust. So I want you to just mess with them and just kind of get a feel for it. So now you can see that I have this like weird lens flare effect happening at the same time as everything else. And of course, you can turn it all off, so it's just the lens flare. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to show you one of the other cool tricks that After Effects can do really easily. This video isn't set up for it because I don't have any green screen information to work with. Some of the other videos we'll actually have some green screen stuff that we can mess with. But for just this video, I'm going to do a very simple color shift. So I'm going to turn off all those effects real quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want reuse, that's this character's name, reuse Shaw thing here, his shawl, to change color. So to do that, I'm going to go to Effect, Color Correction, and I'm going to change to color. Okay, so it's going to ask me from to. So I'm going to do my eyedropper, and I'm going to choose his shawl. And I'm going to say I would like that to be green. We'll go blue. Okay. Now, you can see one of the problems if we don't have like a keyed color. So you can see it changed everything that was that color into blue. So you can see that Kin's his pants have changed color because they were too close to that one. But what's really neat is you can see that it happened in real time, and now that color is changed. So if you have a really clean color, like someone wearing like a solid color shirt, and it doesn't really share any colors with anything else in the shot, you can very easily change that really, really fast. Okay, so for your first assignment, or for your first actual After Effects assignment, what I want you to do is I want you to take this video footage or video footage that you have, and I want you to kind of apply a stack of effects to it, and just take a screenshot with those effects applied. So really, I just want you to play with the effects and get used to them as we move through, because we're going to be doing a lot of really cool like keyframing of 3D cameras and 3D text and all kinds of neat stuff like that. So I just kind of want you to get used to working within After Effects. Okay, and just a screenshot. We're going to go over rendering in the next project. But for this one, I just want a screenshot to show that you've got your effects layered and all that stuff. All right, thank you.